Hi, everybody. Dave Clark from InspectCheck-net. Today, I want to talk about something other than a tech tip and other than a marketing tip. I want to talk about possibly the elephant in the room that's been going on now for a few years. It seemed to be getting better and seems like it might be back. And that is simply this. Do you have the right to a home inspection? I'm not talking about mandatory home inspections, even though there's some people that think that that's a good idea too. But what we're talking about is a right to a home inspection. And what we're seeing is many people are waiving that right to make their offer more competitive. And what they're ending up with is hardship, that their offer isn't more competitive. It's just that they end up with issues later on. We're inspecting houses from people that waived their home inspection and now have serious issues. And I mean serious issues. There's lawsuits forming in this area too. And by the way, I can only speak for upstate New York, so western part of the state. That's where I'm from, and that's the organization I'm working with in this area. I can't speak for other states or other areas, but just here. And I think it's typical. I talk to inspectors all over the country. I think the information I'm going to give you is pretty typical. I'm sure there's exceptions, but again, I want you to always keep in mind that this is a upstate/western New York thing. So business for home inspectors have been down, and it was COVID, right? You can't go in the house. Everybody's, going to die and all that. And then it got to be that there was a big housing shortage. Interest rates were low. Now they're high. There's always an excuse why you shouldn't get a home inspection, right? Always an excuse. Too many offers coming in. We'll talk about that too. Well, and what about radon? Radon is way down. I mean, we're talking about a Class A carcinogen that you're moving your family into this house, and you have no idea what the radon levels are. Mold, everything is down. At least it is. Again, I can only speak for this area, but I do speak to a lot of other inspectors. They say the same thing. And a lot of it is originating from people thinking that their offer will be more competitive if they waive the inspection. And so do you think people are being harmed by this? And I think the answer is pretty obvious that yes, they are being harmed by this. Who thinks this is a good idea to waive a home inspection? We surely don't, right? In this area, we're seeing sellers putting right on the contract, right on the listing, that there's no inspection allowed or any other service or any other type of inspection. So that includes radon or anything else. They're putting that right on that contract, or right on the listing agreement, I should say. And so potential purchasers are being told right up front, yeah, just so you know, you can't have a home inspection. There's zero contingencies allowed here. Okay, is that really a good idea? Is that really protecting the public? And I think it's not. So in many of these instances, the buyer doesn't even have an option. They're not even allowed to get the home inspection, and they're telling you that, well, it's such a competitive market. Interest rates were low. Now they're high. So it doesn't matter. You pick it. You pick the issue that you want to talk about. And so the market's just too competitive. We just can't do it. We just can't do it. But I want to give you some statistics here. So these are actual numbers. And again, I keep saying it though, but this is for upstate New York, western part of the region. Let's just take a look at a couple of things and then you draw your own conclusion. So I go back to 2012 up until 2023, obviously, because we're in 2024 now. In 2012, the average interest rate was 3.66%. Pretty good, right? Now it's closer to 6.67, 6.85. So the interest has gone up, okay? Gone up. The average new listings per year since 2012, listen to this, average new listings per year are 1779. Again, this is just this area, 1779, okay? Average listings in 2022, 1708. 2021, 1700. In 2023, it was down a little bit to 1419, but we'll talk about that in a second. So in 2023, 1419, down about 360 units for this whole entire area, which sounds like a lot, but if you really break it down, it's not that much. I want to talk about something else too. So the average price increase year over year, year to year, from 2012 to 2021 the average, was 1.93%. So inflation is probably a little bit maybe higher than that, or around there. I didn't do those numbers, but this is just for comparison. Average price increase from 2012 to 2021, 1.93%. What is the average price increase from 2021 to 2023? 21%. So let that sink in for a second. For all those years, price increase was about 1.93. So if it was 2 or 3% or 4% or 5%, you could say, okay, well, it's a little bit, but 21% increase. Okay, 21% increase. So if we look at some of the housing stats, going back to 2012, and we're going to talk about two things. We're going to talk a couple of things here. We're going to talk about how many new homes, new listings, okay? Because you're told the listings are so down that we have to go way over asking price now, and we have to have multiple offers, and you got to waive your home inspection because you're never going to get the house. So let's take a look at that. So in 2012, there were 1,708 actually, new listings. The price, the average price of a house at that time was 127.5. Again, this area, but I think it'll be commensurate to whatever area you're in. 2013, 1,695, 130. Okay, 2014, 1965, 127. And I'm not going to go through every year, but they're all about the same. So the percentage, the price increase, 1.9, 1.9, 4.1, 3.4. Okay, all probably close to what inflation is. Now we know inflation has gone up, but nowhere near like this. Okay, at the end of 2021, that same single family house was now 206,000, and the price change was 29 from the year before, 29.75%. 2022, 13.35. 2023, 17.6. Huge percentage. Okay, huge percentage. So you're thinking, why? What's going on here? All right. So there were less homes put on the market in 2023, but the biggest jump was 2021, 29.75% price increase, and that was 1,700 houses on the market here. In 2012, there's 1,708. In 2013, 1,695. And we didn't see a price jump like that. We saw a price jump at 1.9%, not 29.75. And it's almost the exact same amount of houses. 2022, 1,708, almost exactly as 2022, and 8 more than 2021. Yet almost a 14% increase in prices. Okay, so I think you know where I'm going with this. So there were a few less houses, but let's break that down a little bit. So you were told that we had historically low interest rates. So you got to buy now. Big frenzy. Very, very low inventory. Not true. At least it's not true here. A little bit lower, but not very, very low. And we're going to break that down even further. Then we have multiple offers. Do we have multiple offers? Well, you can't see the offer. If you ask, what are the other offers? We really don't have that. What's it turned into now is an auction. It's turned into a blind auction. Okay, all offers on this date, and we have multiple offers. Okay, what are they? Well, I can't tell you. So you might have to bid against yourself. But you better go 30, 40, 50,000 over. And I remember working on some legislation for mandatory home inspections, and I know a lot of people don't like that. That's another show. But we were told, oh, we can't do that. That's too cost prohibitive. You're going to force these people to pay $400 or $500, and now they're paying 40, 50, 60,000 over asking price. But that's okay. Okay, we don't have time for our home inspections. Some of the things you're told, or a radon test. We don't have it. We don't have time. Well, in this area, it takes anywhere from 45 to 60 days to close on a house. Seems like plenty of time to me for a 4-hour inspection and a 2-day radon test. We have to go over asking. Why? Why do we have to go over asking? Because it's that competitive? Okay. The seller will not allow for a home inspection. Okay. And in some cases, they don't even fill out the property condition disclosure, although that law has changed too. So, I mean, does that raise a flag? So the truth is, the currently interest rates are the highest they've been in many years right now. They're pretty high. Not pretty high, but they've been higher before. And if we take a look at the towns around here, there's 37 towns that incorporates the area that I'm talking about, these stats from. That averages less than 9.7 homes per town. And we have the second biggest city in the state here too. So less than 9.7. So if you really take that number, that 9.7 number, and you take the high-end houses out of there, take the, $750,000, a million for here, that's a lot. And then you take the ones that maybe need work or are beat up. What are we looking at? 5 less houses, maybe 4, 6 per township. Some of these, many of the townships here are actually pretty big. Big square, square mileage wise, pretty good size. So 5 houses, 4 or 5 houses, we're down that much, and we're talking about the average, right? The most desirable home, that 1,800, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, whatever it is. So we're down that 3 houses, 4 houses or so, and now there's a frenzy, okay? Because what's happened is it's turned into an auction. Okay, no one knows who's bidding and what the offers are, right? And by the way, with radon, Western New York is considered an EPA red zone, and we have some of the highest radon levels in the country here. There's no question. Could bidders actually be bidding against themselves? Well, maybe. We've seen a lot of houses going through price reductions, and these houses were ones that that didn't sell for whatever reason. So if they're going through price reductions, then how bad could it be? We're seeing lots of price reductions. A couple of other things. In 2019, in this area, again, there were about 1,900 licensed realtors. Currently, there's almost 3,500. So they're all competing over the same houses. The price of homes has gone up 21% over the last 2 years, compared to an average of 1.9% per year over the last 10 years. Okay, and you're going to blame that on that small shortage of houses that we're talking about? Even a moderate shortage of houses. Should it have gone up that much? Is the demand that high? Okay, who advised 2 things? The seller to put that in their listing, that there'll be no home inspections allowed or no other inspections or contingencies. And who also is advising the buyer, telling them, waive your home inspection, waive your radon test, waive everything, because you're going to be more competitive. Okay, if you're advising them to do that, you're wrong, period. So this brings me to some of the things that we've been working on. The Western New York Alliance of Home Inspectors, I'm a member of that organization. They've been working very hard for really a consumer protection bill, and we have one. So New York State Assembly Bill number A8889, I'll say that again, A8889, and this establishes the right to inspection of residential retail property. It's not mandatory, but if you want to have that, you can get it now. Nobody can stop you from doing that. Nobody can talk you out of it. It would be against the law, and they could be fined, or worse, maybe lose a license if they're licensed or something like that. So I'm asking you to support that New York State bill. If you are in New York State, if you can contact your assembly member and your state senator and tell them you are in support of that bill. And all that does is establish a right. And it's similar to a bill that we saw from Massachusetts, and I'm reaching over here for it. And that is an act protecting consumer rights in purchasing safe and habitable homes. And that's the same thing in Massachusetts. So if you're seeing this in Massachusetts, hopefully that's going to get passed, because I guess it's moving quickly to get through there. And hopefully that will get passed. So we hope that you will do that. You will support this bill. And please contact those two, the assembly and senator in this area, to do that. I'd like to hear your thoughts on our Facebook page. If you want to continue this conversation, I'd love to hear those thoughts. And let me know if you are aware of any similar efforts in the states that you live in, or areas that you live in. Thanks. Have a great day.